Welcome to Chef Zone. My name is Joy Goto, and on behalf of the Chef Zone team, we're excited to have you here this evening. We hope you enjoyed the delicious charcuterie prepared by Chef Johan Strang, featuring products we have at the Inspire Chef. We will be offering something similar this Mother's Day for our customers to order and pick up to indulge your mom for their special day, and you can add on caviar or zero champagne. Before we get started, I have some housekeeping announcements and updates. The restrooms are out the door and to the left. We hope you are all members or signed up today. We have more than 5,000 products that are great for our food service customers, family gatherings, and special occasions, and more. Check out our website as we continue to update it with product and event information. If you post on social media tonight, we would love it if you tag us at Chef Zone HI. To start, I'd like to introduce Alex from Kakako Wine. Based on Chef Alan's menu, he has selected a red and a white wine for you to pair with the dishes Chef will be preparing tonight. I'll turn it over to Alex from Kakako Wine.
Hi guys, good evening. Nice to see a few familiar faces tonight. Some repeat customers. We've paired with Chef Alan tonight wines from Italy. So we'll be traveling through Italy tonight. We have a nice white, a Ribolla. Ribolla is an indigenous grape from Italy. It's fruity. It's the most joyful white you'll ever drink. It's fruity yet dry. That'll go well with the salmon. And then with the beef that's coming up, we have a super Tuscan wine. We rarely have super Tuscan wines at these price levels, but they're delicious. It's going to be light, yet it'll pair really well with the beef over there. So please enjoy. I'll be coming through pouring the wines as we go through the evening. If you have any questions about the wines, just let me know. If you like the wines and you can't live without them, they're here for sale as well. We can help you out with that. And if you've never heard of Kakako Wine, go to kakakowine.com. It's our family-owned business, and we love it. So back to you, Jai.
Thank you, Alex. We're again so honored to have Chef Alan Wong lead our Onolicious Kitchen series. Chef will demonstrate his approach to cooking comfort foods and dishes without a recipe by focusing on the 5 fundamentals of flavor. Chef Alan Wong is one of the founders of the Hawaii Regional Cuisine Movement, a James Beard Award winner for Best Chef Northwest, and his former restaurant, Alan Wong's restaurant, has won numerous accolades, including the 10-time winner of Honolulu Magazine's Haliaina Restaurant of the Year. Tonight, you're in for a feast. Chef will be preparing a mouth-watering prime rib as his main dish, along with a few amazing surprise dishes. These are all perfect dishes to learn to prepare for a special occasion, just like Mother's Day next month. Once the session ends, everyone will have half an hour to shop in Chef Zone and pick up some of the items Chef... Yeah, isn't that awesome? We did it. 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 Hooray. And pick up some of the items Chef used in his dishes. We have posted the key ingredients on our website and on this flyer. You can pick this up afterwards when you go home. You can also use the QR code posted to find the items. It's situated around the room, as well as where they are located in Chef Zone. And if you're not a member, please sign up today. Helping Chef Alan this evening is Lily Yamamoto, who is a culinary student at KCC, and also Lee Ito, who is Chef Alan's right-hand person who has worked with him for over 20 years. We hope you enjoyed today's session. We will send out a survey after the class and hope you'll provide us with your feedback so we can continue to improve. And now, here's Chef Alan Wong.
Aloha, good evening. By the way, that's Russell Hata over there, the owner of Chef Zone. Yeah, thank you, Russell. There's a lot to talk about, okay? And a lot to do. But if anybody has a question, just raise your hand and we'll stop. I'll answer your question. And this is your evening, okay? If you don't know, I don't pass out recipes. So this could be the title of the class, Cooking with No Recipes. Primarily because, see these 5 cards here? This is kind of how I cook. And this one here is sweet. So it's not just white sugar, brown sugar, honey. It's everything that's sweet, including, like if you buy a sweet chili sauce, you're putting some sweet in your dish. Sweet and hot, okay? Sodium, not just salt, Hawaiian salt. Fish sauce, shoyu, anchovies, okay? Acid, not just citrus like lemon juice, vinegar, Wine, sometimes shoyu is acid. Okay? Heat is not just, oh, there's so many different kinds of chili peppers, and you got the liquid kind like Tabasco, sriracha, sambal, all of those things. Last one is bitter. Okay? Things like bitter melon, radicchio. There's a purpose for these bitter things, watercress. Before I talk more about this, what they're passing around is a mamaki tea, which is cold today. Okay, I've served it hot before, and it's nice to see some of the familiar faces. And if you know, I start off with something of a beverage, and normally it has to do with well-being and good health. Okay, it's mamaki tea. The Hawaiians had it a long time ago. This addresses high cholesterol, high sugar, and high blood pressure. Okay, it was very popular at the restaurant because it has 0 caffeine, and it was digestive. Okay, it relaxed your inside. And if you're listening to what they're talking about here, they're talking about the gut as the second brain. The gut as controls your well-being. Okay, so this is good for the gut. Now, in there is some tomato water. Now, I decided to add the tomato because lycopene is in the tomato. That's good for the heart. So I did a heart dinner one time, and one course revolved around tomatoes for that lycopene. And if you're from Italy, they say you drink a tablespoon of olive oil a day, and it's going to keep the doctor away. So I sprinkled a few drops of, I don't know where it is, this olive oil by this famous chef Massimo Bottura. Okay, and it's available next door. Okay, very nice olive oil. It's mild, not very bitter, not very spicy. Okay, kind of right down the middle of the road, but tasty. So that's what you have in your cup. Okay, so drink a little happiness. Your gut saying thank you very much, especially you, bro.
You can cook with that one too. You cook with that one.
You know, if you're gonna buy something like that, extra virgin olive oil, that expensive, I don't cook with that. I use that like a finishing thing. Or like, you know, the last time I had a salad and I sprinkled olive oil and balsamic vinegar, that one. Okay, so you can actually appreciate it and taste it. Because once you start cooking with that, it gets kind of get lost, yeah? You can use anything. You know, you could use just any old salad oil. But there are some chefs that like to cook with that. I have a reason why I don't do that. Okay, save money.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay, so I got a lot of things going on. Okay, so the mamaki tea was first. So let me see. Help me carry this out. Take them out. Okay, carry. Okay, so I'm going to explain how I cook the prime rib. This one is not ready. Okay, it's on its journey, but I'm going to talk to you about this one. So this guy went in at 4:30. Okay, at a 200-degree oven. Okay, if anybody has heard about this reverse sear technique, this is it, except it's a really large piece of meat. So imagine if this rib roast was only like 3 to 4 inches thick. I take the 200-degree oven, I season it, I let it come to room temperature, okay? And you stick it in the oven, 200 degrees, and all you're waiting for is an internal temperature of about 110, 115. Okay? So you take it out, you let it rest. all that is left to do is sear it. Because if you cook it this method, it still looks raw. So you let it rest. And if you're entertaining Mother's Day, you sear it maybe half an hour before everybody eats. Okay? And one of the keys to a nice roast is how long you let it rest. Those guys been resting for 1 hour. They'll go back in. Okay? But Lee is not a professional, so she's my gauge. Okay? Because if she can do it, she can cook it at home, so can you. Hey, you like that?
Yeah.
Okay?
For sure.
So now, when we put this in at 430, what temperature was it?
225.
No, this guy.
Oh, you just said it was 220.
The meat.
Oh, 58.
Okay?
Yeah.
58 degrees. This roast was sitting outside from 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay? With the salt on it. All there is salt, black pepper, rosemary, and fresh thyme. That's all there is to it. Okay? So it went in at 58 degrees. So we'll pick a place and it's at 94. Okay? So it's about an hour and 48 minutes. Okay? So it went from 58 to, was that 94? Okay, so it's got to go back in, right? Okay. It's almost now. At 110 to 115, I want to come out. So as Joy said, this is about maybe cooking prime rib for Mother's Day. Okay, that's what this whole thing was about. Now, I'm thinking about, okay, what can we serve with the prime rib? So I thought about all these things and I realized everything had butter and cream in it, like mashed potatoes. So I thought, you know, I got to mix it up a little bit. Got to lighten some things up. So I said, what would they do in the Mediterranean? You know, like Mediterranean diet. And so there's a different way of making mashed potatoes. I'm going to show you. But then there's also a roasted potato with a romesco sauce. And I'll explain that to you. Okay, romesco is it's like Spain's ketchup. Okay, I'll explain it later. So anyway, that's what happened. Thought about this and I thought about that and ended up being like so many things with the prime rib. Okay? Any questions?
Not on the prime rib, but do you have the recipe for the tea? Is that written down someplace that we will see?
The tea? No.
No.
I'll explain this to you. Okay. Mamaki tea. So this is, you can get this from Tea Chest. It's Mamaki tea. This is loose leaf. So basically, I take hot water, I bring it up to a boil, and I pour this on top. It looks like dried basil. Okay? Now, the more you put, the more strong it. And then, after you put that on, I turn it off, and then just let it steep. The longer you let it steep, the darker it gets, the more bitter it gets. I like the bitter. Okay? It's not bitter, it's like you know how tea is? You know that tannin? Yeah? Otherwise it's too light. Okay? So you're making mamaki tea. So imagine in a restaurant, you're slicing tomatoes for sandwiches, you got the trim, you got the sides, right? So you collect them all. In a restaurant, you collect a big pan. So you blend them, I blend them. The only thing else is just a pinch of salt. Okay? And what you get is you get a tomato pulp, and I take coffee filters and I layer it. Okay? And this was dripping overnight. So when you let it drip overnight, you're not forcing that red pigment through. It's crystal clear. Okay?
But it's tomato water.
It's tomato water. So if you've been to the restaurant, you ever had this dish called the opihi shooter? This was it. I put wasabi, I put shiso, I put ume, I put aniswa's olive, put that opihi inside, and that was the opihi shooter. Okay? If we get some time and you remind me, you're welcome to try this. Okay? And then the olive oil was just a few drops. Yeah. Okay? Thank you for the question. Okay, where was I? Where was I? Put the primary back in the oven, right? Oh, funny story. Okay, rosemary. Where's the rosemary? Is it on your table? Okay, true story. True story. Justin, maybe you were working in the kitchen at this time. Okay, a cook makes chicken soup. Okay, intending to be the soup of the day. And he puts fresh rosemary sprigs inside chicken soup. So I come up into the kitchen and, I got to taste everything. So I tasted chicken soup and I said, who made this soup? So it wasn't Justin, but somebody raised their hand. And I said, we cannot serve this tonight. Well, you got to make this again. Because when you put fresh rosemary into chicken soup, it's really strong, yeah? Almost soapy. But the reason why I tell you the story is from that day on, the rumor spread, chef no like rosemary. Okay? And so when you roast a chicken, when you roast a rack of lamb, rosemary is beautiful on that. So one day I was trying to do that. And I said, where's the rosemary? Chef, we heard you don't like rosemary, so we don't order them anymore, Anyway, side story. Were you working there, Justin?
Oh, I can attest to the rosemary rumor because when you mentioned rosemary, the primary, I'm like,
Okay, you can rest now. Okay, so the first thing you're going to get is a corn chowder. Okay, because bacon takes a while to cook, I took the liberty of cooking the bacon ahead of time. Okay, and this one is kind of simple. It starts off with bacon, and after you kind of cooked it off, I use the fat to cook the onions and celery. Okay, I have a couple of bay leaves in there, and I have a sprig of fresh thyme. Okay, so I've done this without flour, and it's just fine because I put a lot of guts inside. But tonight I'm going to add just a little bit. You can see this, right? Okay. So the fat and the flour, they call that a roux. Okay. Now this happens pretty fast. After you cook the flour and the fat a little bit, you add some chicken stock. Okay. How many of you are expert turkey gravy makers? No lumps. How many get lumps in your turkey gravy? You strain them. Okay, so I forgot to mention, when you add your flour to the fat, like turkey gravy, okay, and you add your stock, if your roux is hot, make sure your turkey stock is cold. Okay? If this is cold, this can be hot. When both are hot, as soon as you put that hot stock on, you get this explosion. Okay? And that's probably when you're going to get your lumps. Okay? And whether it's hot or cold, you add a little bit at a time, so you allow the flour to swell up slowly and take in the liquid. Okay? So now, this part is pretty easy. Okay? Milk. Now, I took a bag of corn. Now, this is frozen corn. Okay? And I put this in a food processor. So what this does is the starch in here is going to help thicken up the soup. Think where cornstarch comes from. Okay? In fact, I'll give you a dish, okay? If you take fresh corn and you puree it, okay? And you can strain that, you don't have to strain that, and you bring it up to a boil. It will thicken like pudding. Because that fresh corn has its starch inside there, it will thicken up like vanilla pudding. I kid you not. And if you strain it, it's like pudding. If you don't strain it, you get the little bits. Okay? So, the other half of the corn, I put chopped ham in there because you don't have to, you get the bacon already, but my Chinese grandpa, he always used to put cube spam inside his corn chowder. So this is what reminds me of my Chinese grandpa. Okay, he was a good cook. Oh. Okay, and I got some cream. So now, that happened pretty quick, huh? What's got to happen is you got to cook the flour out now. That's going to take about 20-30 minutes. Okay, you turn them down, you put them on simmer. The last thing that goes in is a cubed potato. Now, one trick, if you don't want to put flour in there, okay, you take another tub of potatoes, you take some soup and you blend it. That potato acts as like a starch to thicken this up. And just like clam chowder, everybody's definition of thick is different, right? Some like the spoon standing up like that by itself. Some actually like it kind of watery. It's all personal preference. Okay? We can serve this. Now, I saved some plain like this. But the soup tonight actually has sauteed chorizo. Okay? Basically two kinds of chorizo. The Spanish kind is hard, and the Mexican kind is wet. Okay? So this is the wet kind. They sell it here already prepared. All I did was saute it. I'm going to add it to the soup. It's got a little bit of spice in it. So I saved some for those that don't want the chorizo inside. How many don't want the chorizo inside? Okay, good. Okay. So you just saute it in a pan and add the chorizo. You can add as much or as little as you want. This is great with eggs in the morning. Okay. This is good with it, almost anything. That you can see the red color. Okay, that was this is probably achote or anato seeds, a kind of a gift from the Puerto Ricans and the Portuguese. Okay, they brought that over. When I was growing up, they called it a lipstick plant. And we all wore a white T-shirt, right? So we used to have these fights where we throw them at each other, and if they land on you, it's all red like lipstick. Okay, so this is the first course.
Potatoes cooked or not?
The ones I added, the potatoes are not cooked.
Or not cooked?
They're put in raw. But this back one here, been cooking.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The one you added.
yeah. But this guy, these are russets. That's another thing, yeah? Are you going to put russet potatoes, Yukon Gold potatoes, Red Bliss potatoes? They all cook differently. This one cooks in a snap. I would say 15 minutes, cook already. Okay, we got a couple questions. Okay, first question is, why did I add the chorizo? I'm not joking, because it was there. Okay, I wanted to try it, so I asked Joy for a sample. I liked it, so it's there. I thought, this is perfect. Let me try this. Okay, I tried a small sample. I liked it. I dumped the whole thing inside.
Where was it? You said it was there. Where was it?
Oh, here in this kitchen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You just found it here.
So before you eat this, I'm in here and they allow me to come and play. So I've made this thing at least 2-3 times at least. Okay? So I'm not experimenting on you. And there was another question there. Why did I add the cream after the milk?
Leave it sit overnight.
Normally you add cream towards the ending of cooking. You're enriching it. Yeah? So also I'm mindful that I don't want to just add the milk and have it curdle. So when you start adding other things, especially the heavy cream, it kind of doesn't allow the cream to curdle. In fact, if you don't have cream, I kind of did it this afternoon. Okay, so I kind of ran out of cream until Joy got me another quart. So I started off with chicken stock and milk. Then I sliced a few pats of butter, and that fat from the butter made the milk like half and half. It stabilized the milk enough so it didn't curdle. You wanted to try this? Anybody want to try this?
Excuse me, what do you think about Italian sausage instead of chorizo then in case there's people that don't care for spice?
Oh, so somebody already asked a question. This is a sausage. So there are many different kinds of sausages. You can take any sausage you like and add this to the soup. So the question is, sausage, no sausage? And if sausage, yes, then what kind of sausage? Yeah, don't have to be the spicy one. You can put breakfast sausage inside there if you like.
So this is just the tomatoes and
Tomatoes blended and,
then
drip.
drip.
Yeah, and just a pinch of salt. Okay, we got a prime rib report. It's up to from 94 to 100 now. It's getting there. Okay, how many of you cook salmon at home? Okay, how many of you, when you cook salmon, you see this white protein coming out of the salmon? Okay, they call it albumin. Okay, so I cook a lot of salmon at home. One of the ways to avoid that is temperature of your pan. But I like to take the salmon, as soon as I cut it, prepare it, I season it with salt and let it sit for as long as I possibly can. Okay, and once again, I let it come to room temperature. So when you think, if you're going to cook it right away, you let it come to room temperature because it cooks faster in the pan. Because that internal temperature is just rising, 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 right? So it has a higher starting point if it's at room temperature. This prime rib was, Lee, 54?
Oh, when you started it?
58? Okay. Imagine what the temperature would be if it came right out of the refrigerator. It'd be like maybe less than 40. Okay? So one trick, season your salmon all the way around. If you want a good sear, as soon as you put the salt on it, it will sweat, moisture. Okay, salt takes moisture out. You need to like kind of like damp it. Okay, because it's that water will prevent you from getting it brown. So I'm testing the oil. Okay, I can tell if it's going to stick to the pan. So sometimes you make the mistake of trying to flip it too early and it's stuck to the bottom of the pan. Okay. Justin, you remember what the secret to French cooking was? Secret to French cooking? Butter. Did you just turn the fan on? I can't hear.
What's your salt of choice?
Salt of choice.
Yeah. Table salt, pinky salt, kosher salt.
I like to use Diamond brand kosher salt. There is another one close, like Morton's kosher salt. The grain's a little bigger than table salt, but the table salt has an anti-caking agent in it. The kosher salt has nothing in it. So I just want it as clean as possible. It's like butter, always unsalted butter. I can always add the salt. Okay. So now, I gotta do something back here. You cannot see me. Okay? I don't think the camera can go here. Okay, let's put the salmon inside the oven.
That's the 24th one.
Yeah. Okay, you see what I just did? I took it off the fire. Okay? If you are at all hesitant with fish, okay, the higher the fat, the more forgiving the fish can be. But this taking it away like this, that's going to save you a lot of time and trouble, because it's continuing to cook, but it's cooking at a very low rate that gives you time to go do other stuff. Yeah? So this is called carryover cooking. So another example of carryover cooking, this was taken out at 110. Before it starts to go down, it will rise to 120 something. Okay, it continues to cook. The internal heat keeps it going. This pan won't cook on here. This pan will. So I cooked the salmon here, but I'm gonna make this over here. So I chose this dish because it's kind of simple. It's simple, but it's not simple. Okay, I'm gonna make brown butter, and it happens like this. Okay, now when you make brown butter, then you add lemon juice and you add parsley. Okay, they call that meunière. It kind of means the miller's wife. Okay, basically it's a lemon, butter, parsley, brown butter sauce. Okay, that's all it is. So it's a sauce made in the pan. And it's very simple. What you gotta do is get the salmon right. Now what happened was, before you came, I seared the salmon, put them on a pan. So if you're entertaining for even 4 people, you do the same thing. And you stick them in the oven. Okay? Now if it's just me cooking a course at home, I would cook them right in the pan. I would use this pan to make the sauce. You don't realize it, but when you cook, you got to use your ears too, you know. When I heard that, I had to turn around. Okay, this is something you cannot walk away. You cannot even go turn on the TV. Cannot. Okay? Now the butter is foaming. Okay? Here. See? It's foaming now. Right? Now, it's just starting to turn brown. Okay? Okay. As it starts to turn brown, the bubbles kind of subside and you can see it's getting brown. Okay? Now instead of lemon juice, I'm going to add yuzu juice. Okay? And everything else stays the same. Yuzu juice, little parsley, add some capers. Okay? Okay. So as soon as I add the parsley, it starts sizzling. I add a little bit of yuzu, add little capers. Okay, and the dish is done. Okay, so can I get a plate, please? So, okay, here's a good one. You can see, right? So I don't know if you heard this one. Okay, take your hand and go like this. Okay, that's rare. Go like that. That's medium. Fist is well done. Okay, now that's for meat, not for fish. I'm just trying to explain there's a theory. For this one, okay, you know the canned tuna, the chunk kind. Imagine you open the canned tuna, you put them on a plate. Take a fork and you press down on them. Okay, when you press down on them, you see the layers, the muscle, just separate like this. Okay, now I gotta get my brain to tell my finger, or my finger tell my brain, is it slipping? It's not slipping. Okay, also visually I can see. Can you see that? Ah, can I see it? Okay, so I gotta make believe because I made the sauce already, okay? So, my plate, I will reheat this. So that's another thing, okay? Square plate, didn't know I was gonna get a square plate. What's the difference if I put it here? Or whatever it is if I put it here? Look a little bit better. Okay. And then this goes right over the top. So that's how easy this dish can be. And you don't have to use yuzu, you can use lemon juice. Okay, now what I'm gonna add is, yeah, okay. This is simply panko and minced garlic, cooked in a 1-to-1 ratio of oil and butter. Okay, I'm toasting the breadcrumbs. Okay, if you go to some parts of Italy, they call this the poor man's parmesan. Okay, and so it has this crispy kind of texture to it. It's a butter sauce, so it's going to soak it all up. And it's going to have a little bit of garlic. Lee made these croutons. Okay, avocado oil. And this one has some Parmesan cheese. The purpose of these croutons, you can use either or, okay? When you see this dish in a French restaurant, you will see the croutons. And the croutons are there to soak up the butter and also give you some texture to this thing. Okay? I think we're almost ready. Go. Okay, I touched the first piece, it slipped. Okay, at the thickest piece of the salmon. Okay, we're ready. Yep. Yes.
You mentioned earlier you probably were entertaining
You got to check them. So it's all time and temperature. So the higher your temperature, the more often you got to check. Okay, if you put it on a little bit low, it's a little more forgiving. Salmon is very fatty, so it's very forgiving. Okay, for some of you that thought the soup was spicy, okay, when I first started this corn chowder, I thought it was sweet. So we're balancing sweet with heat.
Yeah, we gotta try it again.
Okay, this particular one, besides the salmon is fatty. Okay, the yuzu is acid. And there's butter, the brown butter, fat and acid. Okay, capers, salty. So you don't want it that salty, don't add that much capers. You don't want it that acid, put less yuzu or less lemon juice. Okay?
What is I don't understand the splitting, the separating and press down on the salmon. You want it to slip. You want it to slip. And they're opening no one to slip.
Okay, so the next time you cook fish, be really on it, like test it even though you know it's raw. Okay? When it's raw and you press your finger on it, it's not going to give. Okay? And if you test every 30 seconds, it's kind of overboard, but just try it. Okay? You will get it to the point. Okay? So who I call my chef, okay, Andre Saltner in New York City, he had the best restaurant in America. Best restaurant in New York City. And he told me, you have to cook this fish à point. That's French. À point meant to the point. Okay? He said 15 seconds before, under. 15 seconds over, past, over. Now imagine me working for a guy like that. Okay? Nothing bad happened to me. Okay, but that's how he was. So that's how you get trained to look for the signs of to the point. That's hard, you know.
It's hard. My is the hardest for me.
Oh yeah.
My raw.
Yeah.
But that's perfect.
Yeah.
I always miss that point.
But when you get the fish to the point, you kind of know you got it. Okay? It's still a little translucent. Yeah? They say when you go to Hong Kong, the Chinese, they know how to eat fish.
What about the instant thermometer?
Instant thermometer? Outstanding. Okay? In fact, you know that green thermometer I was using? I showed Lee, okay? I said, let me show you the old school. I took the needle and I poked the meat and went like right under my lip. And I said, this is what I'm looking for. If I touch the bottom of my lip and I go like, because it's hot, it's overcooked. If it's cool, it's still too raw. It's got to be almost the temperature of your lip, the bottom of your lip. And that's how we used to do it without thermometers. So when you take the needle, you're kind of looking for the same thing. But, you know, they don't use them in the restaurants too often anymore. Because you can imagine if anybody just keeps on doing that 100 times and they don't wash their face and it kind of, you know. Yes, I love the skin on. Okay? Fish has 3 flavors. The skin itself, the fat in between the skin and the meat, Okay? Okay, 112. We're here. Okay, so the ones that I pulled out earlier, I put back in, right? This one came out, went in 4:30. And it's about 2.5 hours. It reached 112. If I check it, it's going to reach 120 in about 10 minutes. So these guys, that I pulled out before you came, I'm going to go back and I turn the oven to 300 degrees. Because all I want to do is heat it up. Okay? The temperature will rise a little bit. So, before that is ready, okay, I got 2 potato dishes. Okay? One's almost like a mashed potato. The other one, I went lighter. I went to Spain. And it's a roasted potato. It's like a wedge with a romesco sauce. A romesco sauce, I told you, Spain's ketchup. Charred tomatoes, charred red bell peppers in the blender. I put some anchovies. That was my sodium. Okay? Peppers are sweet. I added piquillo peppers. So I took the tomato, I took the red bell pepper, I charred them. I took the piquillo peppers, the jarred, they're available next door. They're kind of sweet. They cook up like a pimento or a pepper. They're a specific kind of pepper. Okay? And so the thing with romesco is, or a lot of things in Spain, is thickened with ground nuts. Okay? Ground nuts, a little bit of red wine vinegar, a little bit of olive oil, and that's it. No butter, no cream in this one. This is the one that has the butter and cream. Okay? This is just a different way of making mashed potatoes. Okay? Imagine if you did not have a potato ricer. Imagine if you did not have a potato masher. Okay? So these are russet potatoes. They're cut about 1 inch thick. And I put milk and cream. Okay, more milk than cream. Now you saw me put the first 2 pats of butter. Now when I covered it with foil, and I'm going to steam them. Okay? And when they get cooked, I'm just going to smash them. In the cream, in the milk, in the butter. Okay, okay. So you cook the potatoes in one pan. You kind of smash them in one pan. And you serve them in the same pan. So it's the same dish. The corn soup, I forgot to tell you, it's a 1-pot soup dish. Okay, any questions on this technique here? Okay, so now, cutting the potatoes, peeling the potatoes. That took about 10 minutes. Steaming them took about 15 minutes. And I'm here and I'm kind of mashing them. And if you like them really, you know, mashed, you just spend more time doing this. Okay? Until you get something like that. Okay? So this is like this. Okay? And you only got milk, cream, salt, butter, and I'm going to add Parmesan cheese. Okay? In the restaurant, we had a ricer. We would steam the potatoes. We would rice them. That was a big 1-hour production. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you something else here. Where's the lily? Come. You continue doing what I'm doing. Smash them. Okay. All right, there is a dish out there, okay? I'm thinking, okay, these are like rich French dishes. These are like Mediterranean dishes. And I thought, what about my own heritage? Okay? So, you're going to have a pickle there. The pickle, we just went to Hilo. We have an Adopt a Beehive with Alan Wong program. And it's a great partnership with us, Hilo, that produces scholarships for students to continue their education in entomology or beekeeping. Bees are responsible for over 90% of the world's food supply. When they disappear, okay, foods disappear, the menus change. So I heard about this. They were in cover of Time magazine, and I thought, we got to bring more awareness about what's happening to the bees. So we partnered with Lorna from Hilo, and she's a professor. So 14 years now going. So coming up soon, you want to tell her about the bee box? The partnership with Big Island Candies?
Oh, that was for our donors as a pre-launch.
Oh, sorry.
Since he let the secret out already, in the month of May, we have a promotion with Big Island Candies, and there's going to be a special bee box. It's really cute. And so a portion of the sales from that is going to go towards the adoption program, but only for the month of May. So they will have it online in Hilo and in Ala Moana too. So you're the first to know on Oahu. So when it's on sale at Ala Moana, rush to the store. It's really cute, and it has some shortbread, you know, their products, but like the Mika mints are made with honey, and that they have certain recipes because it's there's a National Bee Day, Honey Bee Day in May.
But when you buy a box, what you're really buying is you're buying, bringing more awareness to the plight of the bees, as well as helping these students continue their education at Hilo. Okay. Okay, cucumber, Japanese cucumber. Okay. So, can you see? Okay, I'm going to count 3 times. Any questions? Okay, turn on 1/3. Any questions? Turn on the next third. Okay, you cannot see, but the secret here, the angle of your knife, okay, if you look really good, it's never going to hit past the center line. You see them? Okay, how many of you know what Tokyo Negi is? It is a baby leeka, like a large green onion. Okay, so imagine if somebody told you to go dice the green onion. How are you going to do them? You're going to do them like an onion, like this way, then this way. Okay, so if you take that green onion and you're going to mince it, you do this. And when you go down like this, it all turns to mince. Okay, so I got my cucumber, kind of like as a snake. Okay, and just like quick tsukimono or quick pickle, you salt it first. Yeah, it's like kimchi. You put the salt on the cabbage or the daikon. Okay, and then you let it sit. And what you're letting it sit for is the salt to go in and the water to come out. Okay, so when that happens, I cut it into cubes like that. This is really salty, okay? So I'm not going to eat them, but you get all these cross cuts, and anything you put, if it's like a pickle, like a namasu, if it's a salt pickle, it goes in all the little grooves. You're making kimchi, it goes all inside. Okay? If you took miso, it goes all inside. Ume paste. So there is a honey, ume, miso dressing on top of that cucumber. Okay? And I thought it has a little acid to it, has a little sweetness to it, but it's a nice texture. And I thought that would be a relief, okay? Like a dill pickle would be to a Reuben sandwich. Then, with the prime rib, What's the second secret to French cooking? Exactly. Okay. So with the prime rib, you got two options. One is this thing called French word au jus. AU is pronounced like O. Okay? Jus simply means the juices that came from the roast. Okay? So this is a beef juice that's going to be served with the prime rib. But now, for an alternative, I'm going to make something else that kind of comes from Spain. Everybody is making chimichurri now. First it was pesto. Now it's chimichurri. Okay? So if I ask you a question, what is the difference between chimichurri and a salsa verde? Salsa verde, you can say maybe comes from Mexico, South America. Salsa means sauce, verde means green, so it's a green sauce. Chimichurri, normally they're using parsley, green stuff, and it comes out green. Some people blend it, some people chop it up. Okay, so I'm calling this a salsa verde, or I'm going to call this an olive relish. Okay, so this relish is got a lot of things going on. It's got acid, it's got salt in different forms. Olives are salty. And you got fat. Okay? This would be an alternative to your jus, or you could eat your prime rib with the jus and with this. This would be great with a steak. You know, a grilled steak with chimichurri is very popular today. Then you got all kinds of chimichurri. Okay? There's even a red chimichurri, an Argentinian red chimichurri. Okay, I got some green olives here. Okay? Green and black Niçoise olives. Okay? Capers. Capers are also salty. Not going to add as much. Okay? I'm going to add some minced shallots. Okay? Now, keep in mind, you can add anything you like. Okay? If I call it an olive relish, well, there's going to be olives in it. Okay? This is minced garlic. You don't like garlic, you don't have to add the garlic. Okay? Now, normally there are nuts or seeds. So these are chopped pistachio nuts. Okay? You could use chopped almonds. You could use pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, almonds. These are pistachios. Okay? Then I have a lot of Italian parsley. Okay? I like to add this one in. Cocoa nibs. Cocoa nibs. Okay? And the thing that binds all of this together is some kind of oil or fat. You notice I didn't add any salt to this, yeah? Okay? Now, don't get alarmed. This is going to take a lot. Okay? It was 24 people. You know when you make pesto, same thing. Yeah? Some pestos are really tight, and some pestos are kind of loose. To make them loose, you just simply add more fat. Okay? Okay. So what I'm getting is, I'm getting acid, I'm getting bitter from the olives. I'm getting a lot of things going on. There's no heat in here, unless sometimes the garlic might give off heat, but there's not a lot of garlic. Okay, and I got the fat The fat balances everything out. Okay, my definition of cuisine or cooking is when the cooks begin to taste their own food. If you go to a restaurant and you see an open kitchen, go see if they taste in the food. Now there's a way to taste the food now. I'm not talking about taste and double dip and triple dip, okay? Okay, this is the only one that goes in here, and this is the only one that goes in my mouth. So, if the cooks are not tasting their food, they don't know what they serve it. Okay, we have to check this first.
Put the potato in, Chef.
Yeah. And you know what? Put that other mashed potato in the oven too. Lee. Well, we gotta get them hot. Okay, as usual, the last half hour is a flurry. Okay. So we get potatoes 2 ways. We got the jus, we got this olive relish. Okay. And 2 different things. One is I'm going to call it a Filipino-inspired tomato salad. Because tomatoes are sweet and acidic at the same time. When you get something rich and fatty, the relief is in the acid. Acid is what can keep you going, eating. Okay? So this tomato salad is simple. Normally you hear about this tomato salad being served like lechon kewali. It's that pork belly or fried pork with the tomato and onions and green onions. So this one gonna be without the pork, but we got a little bit of pork, okay? Because the intention was to give an acidic relief to the prime rib. So what I like to do is, if you see this pan, I cut the tomatoes a little thinner and I salted them. Now, when I salted them, you see the juice that's coming out? That is tomato water, okay? But it's slightly red. I like to use this as part of the salad. I don't drain it, I don't throw it away. That's tomato flavor, that's acid. Okay? So, where are the onions? Oh, here. You have gloves on? Okay? Sliced onions, very thin. I went to Korea one time. We went to a Korean pork restaurant, the black pork. And they served this dish, this onions and this soy sauce dressing. This was one thing they served, and the guy said, this condiment here, this onion, is to help restore your body because you're eating a lot of rich pork. There was also this other thing, this long ginseng. The root was like a carrot, baby carrot. So you took this stem and you rolled it around the carrot, the ginseng, and you ate that. And that was to balance out your stomach because you're eating all this rich pork. Okay? So very thoughtful what they do, what they serve. Okay, ginger. So at this time you would put the pork. And, okay, soy sauce. I would say go easy because we're going to add the fish sauce. Okay, so fish sauce is sodium. Okay, I don't know if you remember, we had a Filipino cook. He said, I asked him, you put salt in here? He says, no. You put sodium in here? No. Find out you put fish sauce inside there. Okay? Just mix it up good. So, Lily's mixing this. In the end, I'm just going to check if there's enough seasoning. Okay? Now, what Lee is making back there is a salad, okay, which has a cilantro and lime dressing. So once again, the lime in the dressing is acid. It helps with the beef. So I made a couple of rich things, and I made a couple of things that are lighter because of the acid. Okay? Taste one and tell me if you have enough salt. Huh? Okay, go ahead and add it. Okay, any questions? We're in the home stretch. Okay. Some people like this right here. Yeah. How's that?
What temperature?
130.
What piece of cut is that? Is it like a Chantal Pinot or?
This is the ribeye. You know, I gotta say something, gang. I've done a lot of demonstrations. I've done a few things regarding like beef and prime rib. This is the first time that I've done a demonstration like this where Russell has generously allowed this portion for you. Thank you, Russell.
Very generous.
How's everybody doing?
Yeah. He's in the really obscure ones.
I know.
Albania.
Because it's such a large piece of meat and it takes such a long time in the oven, we're talking 2.5 hours, 3 hours, it will caramelize on its own and no need to sear.
Did you make this pork? You make the pork?
Ah, Lee. I'd like to know how you made the pork.
Whoa, ancient secret.
And the salad dressing.
Oh, Lee made the salad. She got to tell you.
The skin is so crispy.
So how did you do the salad?
Those are ribbons of romaine lettuce,
Okay.
some ridicule, and then the salad mix from Chef's on here. And then he made the cilantro, lime dressing,
What's in
and
the dressing?
tortilla.
The fat is avocado oil. The acid is lime juice, fresh lime juice. There's a whole bunch of one bunch of cilantro, 2 eggs. That's the emulsifier.
Okay.
Dijon mustard.
Okay.
Um,
So it's kind of sort of like a mayo.
if you want to, yeah, it's a thick dressing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you? This was 2 whole eggs. Yeah. For like a 2-cup batch of dressing. Is it okay? How are we doing?
Question is meat. So after you cook it at 200 degrees, you rest it. So if you rest it a couple hours, the temperature is going to drop.
For the romesco.
Do you have to bring it back up to like 130? Heating it up again?
You-
Eventually you have to reach 130.
You have to, yes. But it had already gotten there prior,
Right.
so you're heating it up. Yeah, so the reason why you're bringing it to 130 is because you want to heat up the meat. As far as reaching that medium rare, it's already gone there. Whether it's rare, medium rare, some was rare. Okay, so that's what the below 130. Okay, and the ones that were like medium rare over 130, there were a couple that were like going medium because the prime rib is not uniform. You get one thick part and you get it kind of tapers off a little bit. Yeah, and of course the end cuts, those are the well done cuts.
So when you're searing it, you gotta watch it really close.
You got to check the temperature. Yeah. Oh, you're not bad.
You started at 200 or 225?
200. Okay. I preheated the oven to 225. When the meat went in, it's at 200. But you want to get the meat to a certain temperature. Like it could be 300-degree oven, but I still got to get the temperature of the meat the same. That's the most important thing. So if I cook the meat in 300-degree oven, it'll get to that 110 quicker. But I'll get more shrinkage. Okay? And I hope you kind of see that the pink was pretty much almost the whole thing, even. Yeah? That's the advantage of cooking this way. Versus like just the inside the middle pink, yeah? Okay, so this is the one that went in at 430 and was been cooking the whole time you were here. Okay, I just checked it. It's at 125. And when it rests, it'll climb just past 130. So here's old school, okay? Okay, so I go the whole length of the meat. Then I go in the middle. Okay, just warm. So it doesn't burn me, it's just warm. When I took it out, it's 125, but it's going to continue to go. Oh, this? It's 125. Can I answer any last questions? Pretty easy?
This is hard. Perfect. That tomato, vegetable,
Romanesco.
Romanesco. What do you? How much is that sauce? The tomato sauce and the potato.
Romanesco. How do you say the word? Romanesco.
Romesco.
Romesco. That's tomato and peppers. That's all.
I took a tomato, cut them in half, and I just charred it on the grill. I took a bell pepper, cut it in half. Well, actually, the whole bell pepper was like rolling around on the grill. Okay, and so
The grill has a smoky taste.
smoky taste. And so in the blender, little garlic, little olive oil, little red wine vinegar. I put a little bit chili pepper. Okay, and
Chili pepper water.
no, I put sambal, and I put this one. Pimenton. This is a Spanish paprika that's slightly spicy. Yeah. And then what thickened this was Marcona almonds in the blender. Because it's kind of loose, yeah? You know? It's like a loose vinaigrette. And the almonds, for that batch, I put 3 little jars of almonds. Yeah. Joy. Oh, that's okay.
How did you sear the meat, the roast, and you put it back?
Well, this is such a large piece that over like 3 hours time, it sears itself. You don't have to sear it. Normally prime rib, you just cook them in the oven.
So you had it at 200, and it had the crust already.
Yeah.
You just have to reheat it then.
This one I reheated.
Yeah.
Yeah? So like, imagine if you had like a 4-inch steak, okay? So that one you would have to sear because it's not large enough to like caramelize. If you took that and you cut it in half, then you would have to sear it.
How many pounds were those each about?
The spec was 15 up, which means it was at least 15 pounds for the whole. So cut in half is 7.5 minimum. So 7.5, 8 pounds for a half. And I think they're selling halves. That's a good question, you know. You know when you buy prime rib, do you know how to select it so that you're buying more from the okole side versus the head side?
Oh, that's a joke. Okay.
Okay. The question here is, when you go to a store and buy a rib steak, or you buy a prime rib, a half, a quarter, how are you going to select from the rear side versus the head side? Okay. The prime rib is like right up on your shoulder. Okay. So when you're closer to the head, you're closer to the chuck. When people complain about prime rib being gristly, that's where it's coming from. Down at the bottom, you're closer to the New York steak. Okay, no gristle. So if they charge same price for this, all the rib steaks in here, you buy the New York steak one, you don't buy the gristle. So you see that side right there? That's the head side. You see this gristle here, this fat? That happens on the shoulder side, the head side. Okay, on the New York side, like the bottom side, you don't have this. So you pick the leg side. You can see that there's no gristle. Okay. This slowly disappears until you get to that last one. No more. And then they sell you New York steak.
So you better to get the shoulders, the head side.
If you like fat, go buy the head side.
Yeah.
If you don't like fat, you buy the other side.
Okay.
Okay? But what I'm saying is, when we get a complaint in the restaurant, too much gristle, it's from the head side.
I had some fat at the front side.
You did.
I did.
You like fat.
Huh?
You like fat.
No.
Okay. Well, the rib steak, difference between rib steak and New York steak, rib steak has more fat than a New York steak. That's why when you go out to a steakhouse, some people like a ribeye versus a New York. New York is leaner. Tougher, less fat this way.
No, the New York was covered.
Yeah.
The New York has fat?
Less fat.
That's fat. Yeah. Right.
And then you get into the grade and where the beef come from, all of that stuff. You can stay as long as you like, but as far as me up here, I just want to say thank you very much for coming. Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Chef So. Thank you. Hope to see you again one day soon.